Welcome to Multifamily Live.
I'm Keely Yarusi.
And I'm Jason Yarusi. Our mission is to help you unlock your full potential as a multifamily real estate investor.
So you can do more deals, bigger deals, with less stress, keep more profit, and free up your time.
Multifamily doesn't have to be a mystery. It's time to go live.
Aloha, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I am super honored to have my next guest on. Her name is Deep Paknikar. Deep, welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Deep. So Deep has owned multiple single-family and multifamily units across the United States. She is a licensed real estate agent in Washington. She has worked in Fortune 500 companies, Amazon and Microsoft, 10 years plus in high tech. Deep Paknikar has a deep understanding about her unique situation as a woman in tech, a demanding industry where many of its employees are investing in stocks. The result of this understanding has led her to create $5 million in value in real estate while working full-time in the tech industry. And she has her MBA in computer science. Welcome, Deep.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you too. So Deep, you have been 10 years in the high tech industry, in the tech industry. What is this deep understanding that you now have? And what made you jump into real estate instead of simply staying in stocks?
So in terms of how the tech industry is there, when you work for these companies, and most major companies do this, is they give you a lot of employee stock. And as you're working tech industry, the folks are super busy. You know, they're working 60-hour weeks, 80-hour weeks, high stress, but same time highly rewarding jobs. And when they have this stock thing, they don't really think about other investments. They say, oh, you know, I have stock. The stock is doing super well. I have million plus in stocks, much more. But they don't think about this factor that it is one way to invest, right? The right investment practice, and it's a well-known investment practice, is you can't put your eggs all in one basket. So many of them, you would be surprised to know, don't even have variation of stocks. They just have their company stock and they just keep that, you know. So it's that even though these are big companies, still it's just like all eggs in one basket. You're working there, your stock's there, so everything you have financially is related to that one company.
So no one has taught them how to diversify, basically.
Well, it's kind of a learning thing, right? They're busy with works. They come to a point in time where they think, oh, you know what? I have too much of the stock. Now I need to diversify. But until then, they're not even thinking about it. So this is a point where I feel that this diversification is required. And real estate is one of the great vehicles to do that diversification, because unlike stock, a lot of the time stocks, you don't have dividends, right? It grows and then you have to pay capital gains on it. Real estate provides you this investment vehicle where you can create this second, third source of income for yourself via passive cash flow. And then the other factor being there are a lot of tax benefits. So now you buy something, you can keep rotating the money via 1031. You can get depreciation tax deductions, so much more, right? And there is a stable asset related to your investment. So with all those things together, I feel when you compare it to stock, it's a fabulous diversification strategy to put some of that money into real estate.
So I would love for you to dive even deeper into that. For any of my listeners that are working their full-time job, who are thinking about getting into real estate, who don't realize the tax benefits that they could have while jumping into real estate, could you dig a little bit deeper into that? Why multifamily?
Sure. So in terms of what happens to stock, this personal story, I have stock and I want to build a new deck, right? So I'm selling the stock, now I'm paying all these capital gains, and it's just like really hard to get around those. Now real estate is this beautiful vehicle, and with all the government rules that we have, they have provided this way for us to be able to take these deductions. So I invest in a single family home. Let's keep it simple, single family home, and now I give it on rent. And if let's say I have a mortgage on it, my rent is higher than mortgage, I get benefit, like I get cash into my pocket. But not just that, it is a depreciation asset, right? So what happens is your house gets older over time. So the government says, oh, look, I'm going to give you some tax benefits because your house is getting older. So they give you this chunk of money that you can, it's depreciating asset, and you can take whatever the depreciation is, which usually is, I think, 27.5 years for that asset, and you can take that as a tax deduction. So now it's a paper loss. You've not actually had any loss. It's just on paper, but you've got this huge tax benefit out of it. Then next thing, turn it around, you sell that home, and now you got this big chunk of money. Let's say you got it for 100K, you made 200K. That 100K difference, you don't have to pay taxes. You can rotate that money back into real estate as a 1031 and keep going, doing bigger and better investments. And for multifamily, just take this one single family home and multiply is 10x, 100x, 200x, and get all those benefits. So
That
that's the
is
power of multifamily.
That is such a great explanation on the 1031 exchange and on cost seg, on the depreciation of real estate and how we can use it as real estate professionals to help our investors. So tell me a little bit more about your personal journey of being with Amazon, being with Microsoft, and why you personally, like, walk me through, how did you first step into real estate? What was the genesis of that?
Sure. I started my journey in tech with Microsoft. So I worked there for a while, then got my MBA, moved on to a startup, went to Amazon, and extremely fulfilling in terms of work. They do the latest technologies, you work with a group of super smart people, fabulous that way. However, at one point, as I was at my Amazon job, had my child, my family was there, I started realizing that my husband and I are working full time. We are pretty stock heavy, and we got our first home, and I started thinking about, is it that what can I do to create additional sources of income? Especially once you have a child, this the life changes, and you're like, oh, you know what? I don't want to sit in that commute 1 hour. I would rather spend that time with my daughter. Or you know what? I don't want that extra, maybe, increment or 10K. I want to spend time with my child. That sort of starts kicking in. And I think that was my transformational moment for me, where I thought, you know what? I need to start creating this additional source of income for myself where I can get back my time. Now that I'm creating money, I want my money to work for me so that I can get my time back. And this is exactly what it was which got me started into real estate.
I love it. You just dropped so many gems right there. Just that transformation moment of you realizing as a mother that you want to spend more time with your child. You don't want to be on that commute. And by creating more money, creating more wealth for yourself, you're basically creating more time. That is just that transformation is everything. I used to do, and I still kind of do this, but mothers of multifamily. You are one of my mothers of multifamily now, because we have all had that transformational moment where we realize that our children, our families were just that much more important. And by creating that time wealth, we were able to spend more time in there. So how would you consider yourself a mother of multifamily? How would you consider yourself as doing multifamily to provide more time for your family?
Yeah. If once you so When I was in this IT job, I was making good money, and then as I was moving on, I realized that I'm making money, and if I keep working this, I'll still keep making money. However, that time factor started becoming more important. So I'm like, I'm in this journey where I have, decent amount of money. Can I take this money and make it work for me, right? How do I do that? So that money goes, it grows, it is a security for me, and it also creates time for me because the money is working, I'm not working. I work for money or the money works for money. So that's when I thought that what could I do to start having money work for me. I started with single family, which was a very easy thing to do because we had a primary home, and that's a very easy translation to single family to generate passive income. So I started with that, but as I did more and more of those, I realized how quickly I was capping out. Like there was only certain number you could do, and you cap out on how much loan you can get, LTV you can get. And then I thought that there needs to be scale in this, right? How do I take that single family, instead of doing 10 single families, how do I scale this? Is going to, like, I do one investment which is 10, 20 units, and have that, say, I mean, of course the money, there is multiples to it, but also the effort, right? How do I have my effort also scaling there? So both the money and effort scaling to give me better returns is where I thought that multifamily transition made sense. And that's when I made that transition, and I'm happier for it, and I want to encourage other women, especially moms, to do the same.
I love it. And I love your encouragement for moms and women in general to really dive into this space. Let's talk about those economies of scale and that transition from single into multifamily. I mean, maybe you can go a little bit into your first deal and how that was different from the single family real estate investments that you were making previously.
Right. I would like to compare on the specifics of it, right? So I do a single family deal versus I do a multifamily deal with a set of partners. So how does that look different? So when I do a single family deal, it's me. I have to decide on the property manager. I have to get the property, manage the due diligence. If once I have property manager, they help me put renters in there, but I need to get this team together, right? And then put in the money, do the loan myself, everything myself pretty much to get into that single family. And then I get certain amount of returns of it. Compare that with multifamily. I actually did a 1031 exchange in my first multifamily. So I got into this with a set of partners. Each one has their own level of expertise, right? Now they are, what would take me, the phone call to do a loan 5 hours, they can do it in 5 minutes. That scale, right? That scale right there, right?
Yes.
And so leveraging their experiences, leveraging their knowledge, their partnerships, their network to really take my investing to the next level. So maybe I'm investing the same amount of money, but now my money is going so much further because it's been levered up, not just in terms of a loan, right? It's also been levered up in terms of skills, right? My money got levered up in terms of a loan. So I put in 25%, it buys me 100% of the home. In terms of my skills also, I put in 5 minutes, I've levered it up to 5 hours with this set of experts. So those both leverages together have now scaled my potential to make money that much times more, right? And then if you continue this game, it's going to be an exponential rise from there.
I'm writing notes right now, just what you said about you, just the time, the mathematics of your time. You said I took 5 minutes, and that 5 minutes created yourself 5 hours because you were able to create a team around you. So what would have taken you 5 hours took you a 5-minute phone call. I mean, for my listeners out there, I really want you to go back and listen to everything Deep just talked about, because she dove into scalability, the scalability and why we are all in multifamily. This is everything. You get your time back by teaming up with people, by leveraging those people around you, by taking yourself to the next step. And maybe you can talk a little bit about that, how you were able and continue to, I'm guessing, to lever yourself up by teaming up with different people.
Absolutely. So this is one where I see the benefits of having a team of experts with you, right? They have developed this skill over years, and I always advise this. team up with experts. Why do we go to a dentist who has done this for like 10 years? Why don't we try to fix our own teeth, right? There's a reason for that. They have done this over years. They're good. They've made all the mistakes, which would have cost money and time. And they are at a position now where they are experts. So why not do the same when we do an investing, which a lot of people actually do in terms of going to a financial advisor and all. But it matters what the incentives are, where financial advisor, you're taking their service. In terms of multifamily, you're actually partnering. Being partners is different from taking just somebody's service and paying for it, right? So when you're partners, you have mutual interest to make that deal a success, which means you are putting in your best in terms of time and efforts in order to make that deal a success. So that's kind of critical piece. So it's almost like, selecting a life partner, if you will, on a smaller scale, where you try to find the partners that you are going to get together with to make an investment. And this is part of networking. You initially do have to put that team together. So part of it is networking and talking to people and seeing if it's a right fit. You know what, really, I really like you and we can work great together, and looks like you have expertise and I have the money. Why don't we partner together and make this happen? Right? So right there, now you have levered me up, I have levered you up, and we can make this bigger deal happen. And not just that, because you're making this bigger deal happen, there you are making also more money on per dollar basis, right? For example, I'll tell you, on single family homes, I was making 7 to 10%. Maybe I make the same on multifamily, but I have 1/10 the time that I need to spend on it. It's a great deal, isn't it? Right? So, things like that, which is something that people need to think about. It's not just the levering of your money, it's leveraging your time and expertise as well.
I love it. You said it so eloquently, so intelligently. So thank you so very, very much for being on this show. I mean, just what you talked about mutual interests to make that deal a success, and by leveraging people and creating a team. I mean, the relationship, just like for instance, between me and you right now, this relationship could one day turn into a partnership that will help us both take that next step up. So before I let you go, how can my listeners find you?
I'm a big proponent of helping women really get into real estate. Like, that's my, big thing. I run a lot of tech programs for women at work, in terms of, just technical women in tech. And I also do that for multiple communities around me, relocating spouses trying to find jobs, lot of women related teams. And this is my top thing, that I really believe that when women are financially free, they have some degree of strength, they have emotional freedom. So once they have that, they can take what they contribute to the community to the next level, because those are the top two things. I don't feel good, or I don't have enough money. Now if I can help them get there, like, they have enough money, they feel good, what are they going to do? Next thing they're going to do is they are going to go fix the world. They're going to fix climate change. They're going to make the communities better. And I want that. I want that for myself. I want that for my children. So this is kind of my mission in a way, and not just, a company that I started. So my company is called Investorina.com. And it is investor plus ballerina, sort of like balancing those
I
two.
love it.
And they can go to Investorina.com, contact me. I'll be happy to speak to them. I'll be happy to encourage, motivate, and help them get to the next level.
I love it. So everyone, please go to investorina.com. That is an impactful way to do your investing. I cannot wait to check out your website. Deep, again, thank you so very much for coming on. You are amazing. For everyone, please, please, please reach out to Deep when you can. Deep, thank you.
Thank you so much.
And for all my listeners, again, so grateful to you for listening. If you liked what you heard, please rate, review, and subscribe. That would mean the world to me. So much aloha, so much love, so much peace. Go check out Deep at investorina.com. Aloha.